Okay, baby, let's go. Review time. Zoko 1700. Oh, all right, let's begin. We got a 4-minute replay. And this is in 1700, so bro's actually gotten better. Okay, good patience so far. It's a nice chow. Second touch. Not bad. Probably want to back off here. I mean, this is... yeah, this is just kind of too risky to go for. Right here, you can see your teammate like a little bit on the right side. And so basically what this means is that if you do challenge here, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I mean, even if you get a touch, it might be okay. But the issue is that once you get to a certain rank, you don't want to do everything based off of a chance, right? Like you want to actually have a bit of reassurance and like some like security, right? When you go for something. So that said, try to avoid, you know, just these dives where you have 0 boost and, you know, there's not really much you can get out of that because your teammate's already going back as well. So yeah, I would advise just to turn here, not to chow, or even do a fake challenge of some sorts, right? But yeah, really full committing is just your kind of Achilles heel in this spot. So try to avoid doing that, leaving your teammate in the 1v2. Okay, kickoff is all right. You might want to work on the pads when you go for it, but it's not too big of a deal. Give your teammate some space. Okay, this like, I understand what you're trying to do here. I mean, obviously, right? But like, at this point, well, actually, this is fine because you're like right there. The issue is the power slide. Power sliding will pretty much never work. If you're not getting him from straight behind, you're not going to get him from the side, like with power slide. And I think the power slide really f***s a lot of shit up because now you're a lot farther. But your teammate gets a good save. But I'd recommend like in this spot, like I would low-key just recommend like right around here. Once you realize you're not going to get him, turn left for that boost because you can see it spawning and then just play defensively, right? Like that's probably the better way to go about this. But it doesn't even matter because this guy just chowed. So you can actually see this guy did the exact same thing you did. But somehow worse. Like he did this like 10 times worse. You can kind of see the issue with, you know, doing this kind of challenge as last man. Because, I mean, you score off it because your opponents did that, and then you get scored on because you did that. So anyway, nothing really crazy so far. Like, there's nothing really insanely clear that you're doing wrong. This child's fine, honestly. Like, yeah, this child's fine. This child's fine. Again, pretty good patience, right? Able to kind of sneak this one through. No touch there is pretty bad, but this is a way better spot to challenge, right? To turnarounds. Not only do you have full boost, but the opponents are already pressured, whereas the original one, you kind of went while they already had full control, which made it really bad to go for. And also, you know, your teammate wasn't really there. Oh no. Okay, I have a problem with this though. This challenge is great. But once you see your teammate here, you should not be turning right like this. Like ever, right? Because of this exact reason. Yeah, if you see your teammate challenging, then at best, you want to turn left so you're going back towards the wall. Or even like... literally anywhere but like right. Literally anywhere but right. If you turn left here, you would have been fine. So honestly, yeah. Like anything that's not f***ing right here, you would have been totally fine, I think. Yeah, that's kind of my issue is that once you challenge as you know, this is a great chow. But once you challenge, like it's not your turn, right? Your teammate's coming in to help you, and so you should be playing off of that. And I think right now your current positioning is like, okay, I still need to pressure this ball, whereas it's not even your job anymore. You know what I mean? So you kind of want to position for a 50 or just in any way that you can be useful for your teammate, right? I don't think I need to explain how, since, you know, it's 1700. But you don't want to be covering the same thing. That's the main thing. He seemed that his teammate would have had a good 50. I mean, then what? This is the same thing that I told him earlier. You shouldn't make assumptions Once you get to a certain rank, you should stop making assumptions off of stuff that you don't know for sure, right? Because then you're just gonna put yourself in the wrong spots. It's the same thing as back here, right? Where like, you know, there's virtually no reason to go for this. There's no reason to go for this because your teammate's not going, right? Even if you did have boost, there's not really reason to go for this because your teammate's already turned back, right? He's already accepted that the ball is lost possession. So it's like, it's the same kind of philosophy, right? Making a decision without any like purpose or no information, like you just can't get away with doing that, right? And once you get to a certain rank, you can't really get away with just turning for stuff because you assume something, right? Sure, most of the time, or maybe like all the time, you will get it right? And you will be able to predict everything that goes on. But every so often, there'll be a time like this where you just throw away the goal because a false assumption, right? You just gotta play smart in their corners. Well, just in general, like, you know, that's just something you shouldn't do. At least not that early. Like, you know, if you can turn after, but you need to take a bit more time to actually rotate out before you do a full turn like that. Anyway, this is a good kickoff. You get demoed. I'm glad that you jumped back down for that. Because I was about to say, like, no way you're jumping for that. But I guess this is fine. I mean, obviously, ideally, you shouldn't have jumped for that. I feel like you don't need me to tell you that. Give your teammate a bit of space here. That's good. He backs off, so you know it's your turn to go, which is good. Try to get a bump. Good plays. I like the idea there with the doink. It's either that or back pass. Honestly, neither of these decisions are bad. It's just a shame you didn't get it. Corner boost grab is nice. I will say, I mean, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I think you're doing this thing again. I think you're pushing up a little too quick, right? This is kind of the same situation as what got you scored on before, is that you're assuming something that hasn't happened yet, and so now you put yourself in this really bad position because, you know, what you were predicting didn't end up actually happening. And this is why it's important to take a bit more time. Not just, people don't just say take time for no reason, right? They say it because the more time that you take, the more information you can take in, and the better judgment you have to make a good decision, right? So if you take a little bit more time to, you know, slow down here and watch this ball and where it goes, instead of turning up here before he makes contact, you would have had a better way of dealing with this, right? Instead, you wouldn't have to rush back, and now you're on the back foot again, right? The bump here is really good. Really good bump. And it's perfect. Yeah, nice. Okay, so you transition off this pressure pretty damn well, I have to say. Like, obviously the other stuff is like whatever, but this is great, right? Recognizing that this guy's in a bad spot, and you can even tell by how he's running away from you that the ball's going towards the net, right? So good bump from you, I gotta say. Okay, well, I mean, like, honestly, I would have jumped for this too. Is that crazy to say? Like, especially after this miss, like, this makes sense. Obviously you could be like, oh, I wouldn't jump for that, but let's be real. It looks like it's on target. I would jump for it too. Okay, I have a couple issues with this. Not a couple. The main issue here is, okay, you don't get the demo, that's fine. The jump though, you should grab this boost and f off. Like, you should absolutely not jump here. Like, there is no world where getting a demo here, even if you do get the demo, it's just really bad. It's just too risky. Again, this is another instance of making a decision where it's like you don't have enough to go off of, right? You're not really thinking, okay, what if I do miss though? This is the kind of thing that you need to account for, is that you cannot make a bunch of baseless decisions, because you will get punished very hard for it, right? Like, you've been playing pretty good this entire game, but all it takes is a couple like overcommits or something like this, and then you lost your tie, right? So this is totally fine, but the jump here, you just need to turn away, right? Obviously there's a case to be made for, like, okay, your teammate shouldn't have child here, but even then this wouldn't have been as bad had you been back. Like, I feel like this is completely savable. And not only that, I feel like your teammate feels more inclined to go for this because he sees you pressuring, right? And so if he thinks you have it, like, by the time that you miss here, he's already so close. Although I still wouldn't really advise him going for this, but there's nothing you can do about that, right? What you can do though is just be careful on your overcommits, because this is definitely one that this would have been a lot more savable had you already been rotating back. He could have took the boost if he didn't jump. Oh yeah, that did I not mention that? I mean, the boost, getting the boost doesn't even matter. Or he did get the boost. Yeah, getting the boost here doesn't matter because he took mid, so that doesn't even matter. The boost here doesn't really matter. So I mean, there's a case to be made you can just turn now, but I mean, since you're so low, it's probably best to just get this boost and leave. That's like the ideal situation, right? Is get this boost and then dip. Yeah, the jump is what really throws you off here, because now you're going so far back. But again, this is not entirely your fault. Your teammate should have definitely not have gone for that. But and this is another thing that you probably have to get used to as you get higher ranks. Like, your teammates are actually good, right? And sometimes they'll set aside their judgment in order to try to make the team work, if that makes sense. So like, if he sees you doing something like that, then, you know, in his head he can't really go back, because then he's, you know, he's not being a good teammate. So he feels inclined to push up, right? Maybe not the challenge after he sees, you know, whatever the hell you were doing, but he feels inclined to push up. Right? Once you get to a certain rank, like, your teammates will try to work with you, and that's why it's important to actually make good decisions so that you don't confuse them, right? And hope that they do the same for you. Obviously, it's not always like that, so. Oh my. Okay, that is crazy. You just got Omega clipped on. Okay, so what happened here? This is a good save. I mean, there's not really much you could do about it once you get into the spot. Ideally, I mean, your team has no boost, but I honestly wouldn't even say this is your ball to go for. Although I think you should have at least forced it. If he forced it, then this would have been at least a bit more manageable. And I mean, I will advise one thing: just when this kind of thing happens, try not to drive forward, right? You're trying to play a double tap when in reality, like, this is not a fast ball, right? It bounces, it's very, very slow. And so if you play your cards right, this is a very savable shot as long as you're playing patient, right? Again, the more time that you take, the more information you can gather. You can tell, okay, he's probably going to double this. And then you just play off that, right? There's no way that this can be any faster than like 20 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Just because of how his momentum is, right? He has like barely any forward momentum here. It's not a banger though. It's not a banger. So basically what I'm saying is, when you're in this spot, right? I don't blame you for this, but when you are in this spot, if you want to have a better shot at it, try not to instinctively drive forward, right? Instead, kind of take the time to position for what you think is going to happen, and then act accordingly. Use that extra time that you have, right? At least, so yeah, you at least have a chance. Trying to learn. I don't give a fuck about my teammate. Thanks though. Yeah. That's why I'm not really highlighting too much about the teammate, because I mean, like, what can you do? But if you want to learn something, rear cam more. I mean, yeah, rear cam isn't going to make you just instantly the GOAT, but it is nice to have, right? There will be a lot of times where when you need to gather information, you won't be able to just see, you won't be able to depend on just your field of view, right? Sometimes you'll need to swivel, sometimes you'll need to rear view, right? It's the same reason why people take their time. It's the same reason why they swivel. It's to gather information, to make the right play, to make an educated guess on what they should be doing, right? And the off chance that like whatever's in front of you isn't enough information, take a look around, right? Sometimes you'll want to make decisions based off your teammates' positioning, or sometimes you'll want to make challenges based off your opponent's positioning. And then when you can't really see that too well, that's where swivel, that's where review comes in handy. But that's where I would see it being pretty handy. Okay, what is happening? I was paying attention. Hello? You guys got a goal. It was off of Spanish, right? Good Spanish. So this is good Spanish. I think since I just got back, I think I'm just gonna chill on Twitch for a little bit, and then maybe we'll see down the line. It's a good demo. Really good cut, right? This is really good cuts. This touch is like okay. I think it's a little extra though. You can see that your teammate got this boost, and this is where it'd be really useful to swivel, actually. Now that I say this, this is a great spot to swivel. Because, I mean, it's literally the exact same thing I was just saying, right? The more information you have, the better of an educated guess you can make on what you should be doing, right? And in this case, if you took a look around you, you'd see, okay, my teammate did just get full boost, and he is facing the ball, right? And he is pushing up a little bit. He's pushing up ever so slightly after this initial touch, and he's boosting, right? By here, you know, before you jump, you'd be like just chilling here, right? Or driving forward, whatever. So that's probably where you can just say, okay, maybe I'll go for a bump. Maybe I'll boost grab, boost steal, whatever. There's a lot more you can do here, essentially, right? Instead, you do this kind of floating thing, which gives this guy, what's his name? Crisis. Gives him the chance to play it back, right? And now you guys are not really able to pressure, and your teammate has no boost now. So, oh, did he not get that corner? Hello? No, he did get the corner. Yeah, he did. Okay, he just ran out so quick. Okay, well, yeah. I wouldn't go for this, is basically what I'm saying, right? Use your swivel more when you need to jump for something like that. So that way you're not making shots in the dark that end up, you know, putting you on the back foot. Oh, yeah. Exhibit A. I mean, like, well, let's see what happened here. So after you do this, this is just another case of you playing your teammate's 50 or playing your teammate's ball way too close, right? Like, you don't need to go for this right away. There's no threat, like, at all, right? You have a lot of boost. And you know your teammate's right there. You should never, here's a ground rule, you should never really be challenging if your teammate is in front of you, right? If you see your teammate in front of you and you're challenging a ball, there's a problem, right? There's a big problem most of the time. There is some silver lining, like maybe sometimes it's okay, but like in this spot when you're on defense especially, and it's not a threatening shot, there's problems. Okay, there's problems. So don't be afraid to take your time, right? I'm not just bullshitting you. People say that for a reason, right? Because yeah, sometimes rushing stuff is good, but not all the time, right? There's no reason to rush stuff every single time when you can use that time to actually position more properly and be more ready for what's happening, right? Unlucky boost miss. All good though. That's a good patience there. Your teammate gets bumped. Probably want to pre here. That's good. Right to the corner. Nice. This is really good. This is... Oh, okay. That touch, not so much. But this play is, like, super great. Like, this is a really good play. Very controlled touches. Everything is going good. I think... Bro, turret, can you stop getting on Power World? Oh, my God. What's it called? I think... This touch is just really bad. I wanted to air dribble. I see. But I mean, yeah, you're not gonna believe what the answer to this problem is, right? The solution to this problem. Take your time. Okay, just take your time. Like I promise you, bro. Like, and this can be a thing. Like, especially once you start getting in higher ranks, like. You feel a lot more inclined to always rush stuff because, you know, you want to stay with the speed of play. A part of what makes a player good is being able to control the speed of the entire game itself, right? Instead of trying to match whatever is going on, a good player is able to slow down and speed up the play as they see fit. You know what I mean? And so that's something that you could really benefit from here, right? After playing a really fast chow, right? After a beautiful touch and then an instant follow-up to get over this guy. Right now, this guy, you see this guy, Poem, whatever his name is, he's rushing back, right? Because he assumes what's happening is going to be very fast. This is where you can slow down, right? You have a lot more space to work with. Instead of, you know, rushing what does not need to be rushed, especially when you're down 2. But yeah. Don't be afraid to slow down, dude. Nice try, nice try. Okay, that's a really good 50. Pop is pretty nice too. The demo, no, it's fine. Okay, see, this is good that you're not like cherry picking, right? You actually turn back here. Another premature flick. Back pass is really good though. Excuse me. I mean, to be honest, panicking hasn't really been a huge problem for you this game. I think it's more so you're just. I mean, rushing and panicking is kind of the same thing. Here, you're just. I think, yeah, I think it is a little bit of panic. Because I mean, you did slow down everything, but then the little child there really got you messed up. So again, don't just tunnel vision on the ball, right? Look around you, figure out what's happening. You can see, if you take a little bit more time, you can see this guy's not even facing you anymore. So then it makes managing everything a lot easier, right? It's like trying to do a math equation and you can only see it for like 1 second, right? It like flashes in on the fucking screen and it's like, okay, what was it? It's like, I don't know. The longer that you look at it, the more time you have to look at it, higher chance of actually getting it right, you know? It's literally just like that, right? You look at this long enough, you'll start to kind of piece it together and get at least a better idea of what to do rather than throwing it right away. But yeah, that's what I would say about that. But the catch and everything else was really fine. It was totally okay. The back pass is great. That you try to cover for a mistake by back passing, which is really good. I encourage you to do that more often. I feel like a lot of people just don't do that enough. So that's great. Just be careful when you're back passing. It's good that you play the high here. Power slide to keep it momentum. It's really nice. It's good tech. Okay. That guy just completely missed. Sure, sure. Let's try. I mean, there's a case to be made about whether or not this was a good touch. But I don't know. It wouldn't have really mattered that much. He had 0 anyway. Okay, like this is good because you know you're not challenging, right? That's the good thing. But again, you're not actually like paying attention enough, right? You're kind of like drifting. This is you know how you were doing this earlier where you're kind of drifting into where your teammates already at, and so you end up having to turn back and you guys got scored on or something like that. It's like the first goal. This is kind of the same like thing where you're drifting a little too close to what your teammate's space, right? He's already got that covered, right? And so it's in your best interest to cover a spot that supports him in some way, right? Whether that means playing behind him, right? Or just sitting midfield, right? Because now you're challenging this at an awkward angle, right? Like, to be fair, this guy completely botched this because he rushed it. But like, or even if this crisis guy been midfield, this would have been really hard to save. Like I reckon this would be pretty hard to save. So I mean, your positioning matters a lot, right? Your positioning matters a lot. How do I get better positioning? Take your time, right? And take note of the things going on around you, right? And use that information to your advantage. Yeah, at this point, like there's not much you can do when you're down 2 with 5 seconds left to get bumped. It's open nets, and that's going to be game. So I mean, you're playing pretty good, but there's a lot of things like obviously that we can work on, right? As always, I go through all the goals just to do a quick recap. Right here, you know, slow down, try not to insta-chow as first man with 0 boost, right? Especially when your teammate's turning back, right? This is not a terrible touch if your teammate's ready to help you, but he's not, right? And so you really need to make sure once you see him turning like that, you need to turn, right? Like turning or challenging this is just pretty much always going to end like this, where there's so much space between you guys that there's like nothing he can do, right? Even if he's Rawas, right? He's going to have some issues saving that on a 2v1, right? So anyway, so yeah, make sure you're focusing on that. This is pretty good, right? The opponent just did what you did, right? Where he's pushing up his last and you capitalize on it and you get a good goal. So nice. Awesome. This one, great chow, but you're turning a little too quick here, right? Predicting something that's not actually happened yet will often put you in really bad spots. So try to make sure that you're taking a little extra time to watch what's happening and then move accordingly, right? You don't always have to be the first thing to move, right? It's okay to play a lot more reactive, especially on offense when there's not a lot of pressure, right? Right now you guys are obviously pressuring, right? So there's no like downside to being a little bit too far, right? Most of the time. Depends. But most of the time, it's better to be a little too far than too close, because then this is going to happen, right? At least you'll have a chance if you're too far, but ideally there's a spot where you want to be, right? But it would have been pretty easy for you to just take your time here, just stop for a sec, see what's about to happen, watch your teammates 50, especially right here. You watch your teammates 50. Okay, if it's bad, I'll try to play this close, play 50. If not, and then we push up, right? Or you can even slow play to help him get back or whatever. There's a lot more you can do, right? There's a lot more you can do than that. This is a good 50, and then this bump is great, right? recognizing that opponents are pressured often leads to goals pretty consistently. But yeah, this is a great example of, you know, using the information to make an educated guess, right? You can tell, okay, this guy's obviously trying to avoid me, so the ball is coming towards him. Most of the time, you might want to check your rear view just in case, but most of the time, like, you can just tell, like, okay, he's obviously trying to save this. So, and then the other guy had dived, so yeah, it was you were making pretty good choices out of all the resources you had here. It's really good, so do more of that, right? This one, you know, there's nothing wrong with trying to get a bump here because it does help, but the jump is really bad, right? The jump is really bad. I think you have an issue with just giving up on bumps, right? Like the one earlier where you like power slid, that was pretty rough too, right? Because it ended up kind of messing you up a little bit. I think it did. I don't remember for entirely, but you know, if you know you're not going to get a bump very easily, it's best to kind of turn away so that if you're, you know, if your team is there, you're not going to confuse him. Again, also not really too much your fault. Like, yeah, it's just unlucky. Like, your teammate was definitely the one to go, but he had no boost, which makes it really hard because if you go, then you double commit. So it makes sense that you didn't go for this, right? But try not to push up to play a slow shot, right? The more you push up, the easier it is for the opponents, right? If you just waited here for a split second, you would be able to side flip. You'd be able to, I don't know, back flip. You do a lot, right? Whatever. Don't need to explain that to you. This was a Spanish, pretty good. Nothing really to say. This one was also a little crazy, right? Make sure you're looking around, swivel to make sure, like, if your teammate's trying to challenge this, you might want to turn back. Even drop a quick chat, let them know like it's okay to go. Because yeah, like, this is just, there's not really a world where you should be going for this in 1700 unless you're squishy muffins, right? And you can air dribble this across the field with 20 boosts, but most of the time you're not going to be able to. So yeah, just look out for your teammates. You know, don't forget they can also help you, especially, right? Like, try not to get in their space, right? You don't want to be challenging this when they're right next to, or like right in front of you, right? That's very, very, very risky, with almost no reward. So right here, fake chow, right? Fake chow, anything that's not full committing, really, like, honestly, as long as you're not full flipping into the ball, like, you'd have a better chance at this. And the rest of it is pretty good. I think you just got to work on patience, right? Your team play is not bad. You know, you're a good team player most of the time. You're able to bump, you're able to make space, you're able to chow, right? Like, these are all good chows, right? Like that touch earlier where I don't even know where the hell that shit was. Where was it? It was this one. Like, this is great. Like, you have great, like, mechanics. Like, you flow really well. Once you get into it, like, you're doing great. The issue is just you need to get better at controlling the speed of the play, right? That will help you a lot, I think. But besides that, I mean, I think yeah, the name of the game is take your time. The name of the game is take your time, right? You could ignore pretty much everything else I said. Maybe don't, but like, you could, right? And if you take away the main point of taking your time, I think you'll be a lot better. And just giving your teammate a bit more space, right? Basically, yeah, take your time. If you don't stop and wait for a little bit, you're going to end up drifting into spots that will end up getting you scored on, you know? So really make sure that you try to avoid that, right? And not cover the same thing as your teammate, or not turn before your teammate actually gets to 50, or, you know, don't try to predict the play, right? There's no reason to always be fast if your predictions are always wrong. You know what I mean? It's better to slow down and have a better chance at actually choosing the right choice. So yeah, that's what I would say about that review. Overall though, very good. I can see how you're in 1700 for sure, and I can see you getting way farther. But yeah, that's what I would say about that. Very cool replay. Hopefully that helps. If you have more questions, you could always ask me.